Alright. I had to make a video, I feel like, um, about something that I find funny every year. And God probably doesn't think it's funny anymore. But I still think it's funny. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Around these parts, it's recognized as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And every year, when the month comes, and I see the Child Abuse Prevention Month signs, every year I'm like, I wish God believed in that. That's a nice statement, but I wish God believed that statement. I can say that with full confidence. Trust me. Anyway, he's like, I'll leave you homeless. I'm helping you out now, later. I can still leave you homeless. And it's right, he can. I'm like, you've done worse to me, God. You watch me get strangled and shit, you know what I mean? Oh well. That's crazy. I have been to that point before in life. Like, I don't care what happens to me. I've been to that point. I'm like, God didn't care. I don't care what happens to me. You know what I mean? I'm not really at that point now. I kind of do care about what happens to me these days. I kind of do care. I'm like, maybe God can heal me eventually. Maybe. That's where I'm at. I'm like, maybe he can. Who knows? He's like telling me that he can finish the work he started, even on the most damaged individual. He'll finish the work. That's what he's telling me yesterday. You know what I mean? That's what I learned from yesterday. He'll finish the work. Even if it takes 1,000,000 years, he'll finish the work. Even if he's still doing the work even after I die to heal me. He'll do it. He'll finish it eventually. I don't know. I just think it's funny every year. God probably's like, get over it already. He's like, I watched you get abused for my grand purpose or something. Even though it wasn't funny at all to you, it was for my grand purpose. It wasn't funny to me at all. It was quite serious. And a Christian, something hit me, and I knew this was no accident when I heard this, when I was at a Christian church, you know. Something was said that was very interesting. And most of the people in the Christian church, they're real Jesus followers, like through and through their whole lives. But what one Christian said was so interesting, it caught my attention, and God knew it would. He knew it would catch my attention. You know, this type of thing, you know. She said she saw a 10-year-old boy spitting on the cross, you know, the cross for Jesus, and telling her that he wanted revenge on Jesus. God knew that would get my attention. All the other stuff they talk about in church, I've heard all the Bible stories, but shit like that gets my attention. Because that's me back in the day. You know what I mean? She thought he was demon possessed. I'm like, I don't know if he was or not. You know what I mean? I wasn't back then when I wanted revenge on Jesus. I wasn't. I was a very sane 12-year-old that felt betrayed by Jesus. No bullshit. Not possessed at all. I'm like, are you sure that 10-year-old was possessed, or was he just abused and Jesus just watched and he felt betrayed by Jesus? You know what I mean? Because I've been in that position. Exactly. God knew that would get my attention. That kind of shit. You know what I mean? Because my whole life I thought I was like the only kid that, you know, felt betrayed by Jesus and God his whole life. wanting revenge for what happened to him on Jesus, basically. Like, not a lot of people, not a lot of Christians understand that type of thing, but I do. I've been there. I've been in many people's shoes through many different things. I've been in that 10-year-old's shoes, wanting revenge on Jesus and try to do whatever it takes to take down Jesus. I've been in his shoes, and God knows it. Even teaming up with the enemy full force to try to figure out how to take down Jesus. I know what that's like. Pretty crazy. Not a lot of shit. Not something a lot of people would admit. But I will, because God already knows. Like I said, this was never really about the psychopaths and all that bullshit or religion. It was about God the whole damn time, and God knows it. That's why this road is interesting, because now it really is just me and God. And today I was saying, I'm not walking this road for you. I'm still saying that to God. I'm not doing this for you, and he knows it as well. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not walking this road for you, God. I'm doing it for other reasons, for other people, for that 10-year-old that felt betrayed by you. That's why I'm walking this road, God. For that 10-year-old that was spitting on the cross that felt betrayed by Jesus. That's why I'm walking this road for God. That's why I'm doing it. That's what I was saying. I'm not even walking this road for me. I'm kind of doing it for me. Kind of. Because the God they talk about in religion and God, you know what I mean? That God watched me get abused. The God of religion. You know what I mean? I ain't doing it for him. I ain't. And everybody knows it. God knows it as well. I'm not doing this for him. All the shit he watched me survive. All the shit he watched me force. Shit I was forced to take. And be silent about it all. Just take it. It was insane to me. I'm like, what kind of God would just watch all this? I was saying that most of my life. What kind of a God would watch all this? You know what I mean? I was not a fan. I was not a fan of God at all. Most of my life. At least the God of religion that I was growing up. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't care if I'm on the bad guy's side. You know what I mean? And I just, as long as I'm not on the side of their God, you know what I mean? My family's God. That's what matters to me. I'm not on the side of my family's God. The hypocrites I was around. I'm not around them and their God. I don't care if I'm part of the enemy forces. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. I'll be the most noble man on the enemy forces. That's what I was saying. And God knew it as well. I didn't really fit in with the enemy. There's that side of me that God knew about me. I was too. There's that noble side of me. There is that good side of me. I don't really fit in full force with the enemy at all. And God knew that. That's probably why he got me out of there. God got me out of there. Despite my issues with God. My heavy issues with God. He got me away. To this point. I still don't think he can repair me, heal me, deliver on anything. I don't. I'm walking this road. I'm being serious. Like I'm walking the road for the God that watched my abuse that couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, you can't do shit. I'm like that same person my whole life. You know? That I'm walking this road for God, for that God, not for the God that couldn't do shit most of my life, basically. Not for him. I'm doing this for other reasons, you know what I mean? Even if I'm too damaged to be healed by God himself, and I believe that. I do believe I'm too damaged. He allowed too much to happen. God did. He allowed way too much. Like I said, he supports free will to the point of insanity. God does, in my opinion. He supports free will to the point of insanity. That's how much damage I took from free will. To the point of insanity. I'm like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I ain't doing this for you. I know Jesus was more of a noble. He was more of he was a more solid son of God for you, God. I'm not him. I'm not him. You know I'm not Jesus. I may be a part of him, but I'm not him. I'm the part of Jesus that doesn't want anything to do with him most of his life. I don't want, I was trying to outdo Jesus. I'm the part of the body of Christ trying to outdo him, overcome Jesus, become stronger than the body of Jesus. That's what I was trying to do. Separate. I was trying to detach from the body of Christ my whole life. I was. You outsuffer Jesus, you're free of the body of Christ. You outsuffered him. It's true. If he can't match you in suffering, you're free. You're not part of him anymore. It's true. That's what I was trying to do. God knew it. I was trying to do many things with my suffering. I was trying to separate myself from God permanently, where he could never find me. Even if he found my physical body, he still couldn't find me. And that's where I was. You know what I mean? When everybody noticed that God was helping me, even me, I was like noticing when God was obviously helping me, it didn't seem like he was helping me. I was so far gone from myself. They destroyed me so badly, my family, of like I wasn't a person anymore. So God was helping a non-person in my mind. When he was like, oh, he's helping me. Are you sure I'm a non-person? That's how my family conditioned me to think of myself as a non-person. That even God wouldn't help me. Not even God. That's how they conditioned me. That not even he would help me. So when he was helping me, it wasn't like he was helping me. It was like a joke. You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't help Adam. Yeah, right. Adam doesn't exist. That's what I was saying when he was helping me. Like Adam doesn't even exist. Everybody like destroyed him. He destroyed himself. He doesn't exist. God's not helping him. He didn't even acknowledge Adam his whole life. God didn't even acknowledge him. He's not helping him. That's why part of me still thinks this is a joke. Even now. God has helped me for like 10, 11 years, obviously. I still think it's a joke. Like, no bullshit. I do. A lot of people don't think that, like, he's helped you for that long, obviously helping you, and you still think this is a joke. Yes. If you live my life, you'd understand. You know what I mean? You'd understand. Like, this is a joke. God will show us true colors and be like the people I was around my whole life. God will show us true colors eventually. That's what I always thought. He will show us true colors eventually. I just have to be patient. I just have to walk this road. Be patient. God will show us true colors. And then it'll be over for me. That's exactly how he knows I think. I'm like, because I still remember. That's a lot of years. Think about it. That's a lot of years growing up. I still remember those years. Like it's no other. You don't forget that kind of thing. You know what I mean? You don't forget that kind of a situation. You don't. All around, you don't forget that kind of whole thing. You don't. It's seared in my mind. That whole experience is seared in my mind. You know what I mean? So much so that I'm like, I was utterly convinced. I was so convinced that I gave up on living life at all. I gave up on any chance of living for real. I was so convinced that I couldn't break free for real. I couldn't, even if I broke free, they would detain me again. You know what I mean? They would oppress me again. Some way, somehow, they would do it. They would try to control me again. They would. And they probably still are right now. A lot of things, you know what I mean? So I'm like, God will show his true colors, and he'll want to control me again. Be an oppressed prisoner, basically. God will show his colors, true colors. Of the God I knew growing up, that watched my whole upbringing. I can show God's true colors for everybody. I swear, I'm like, I can show God's true colors. That he's like them. He's like the people of religion. I can show it eventually. But so far, I haven't yet. But I'm like, eventually I will. You know, if I keep walking this road, eventually I'll show that God's a bad guy. He's the Old Testament brutal God, you know what I mean? But the only way for me to have gotten to this point, and I've said it before, the only way that I've been able to get to this point, the story of Jesus has to be legit. You know, of how his character all around, it has to be legit. Like, no bullshit. He has to be that solid individual. That, you know what I mean? That righteous individual. He has to be, in order for me to have gotten this far. Because I've tested him, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've tried to get him to strike me down, like a narcissist would. In any way, strike me down. You know what I mean? I mean, he's warned me and stuff and chastised me. He has. I admit that. He knows I didn't really have a real father. Not really. I had a psychopath around me. That's all I had for a father. I had an actor for a father. I didn't really have a real father. My father never played catch with me once. Think about that. Just think about that. All those years, you have a son. This will show you the real neglect. He didn't play catch with that son once. That whole time. That whole time, my father never played catch with me once. Not once. Like I said, I didn't really have a real father. My father is very feminine. You know how the narcissist men are feminine? He is. He's secretly gay, but he pretends not to be. He does. You know how he's a hypocrite big time. He is. He's in a religion that hates gays. He is. He's in a crazy position. My father is secretly gay, and I know it. You know what I mean? He's secretly gay in a religion that hates gays. It's crazy. That's why I can't have anything to do with him. For that reason. Thanks for reminding me again to knock out that temptation to see your biological father. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. That hypocrisy is too much for me to even be around. I can't be around that level of hypocrisy. Like, call me a hypocrite on several things, but his level of hypocrisy was so massive, it messed with me big time. I'm like, everybody's a hypocrite. That's what I thought my whole life. Everybody's a hypocrite. Why should I care about anything? Everyone's a hypocrite on this planet. Everyone's a traitor. Everyone betrays. Everyone has affairs on their partner. Everyone commits adultery. Everybody does it. I thought that my whole life. Everybody's like that. Messed up in the head, you know. So I thought. In some ways, I'm not much better. I admit that. But I'm like, if I was faced with an adultery situation, would I do any better? I don't know. I don't know if I would. I'd never been married, so I don't know. I've never been tested like that. If a beautiful woman came across me and I was married, would I fail that test? Would I? I don't know. So I don't know. There's things I haven't been tested against, really. Like that. Because I've never actually been committed to someone of the opposite sex. Never. In my life, never. I barely even commit to anything. It's amazing I commit to just the apartments I live at. I committed to. That's amazing in itself that I committed to something, you know. And even God knows that's amazing that I actually made a commitment. You know, I'm like, I have no choice. You know, even though I don't trust God, I'm gonna take my chances on my own. That's what I did. And I'm like, oh shit. I thought God would have healed me by now. So I'm like, shit, what do I do now? You know, I'm like, is it over? I don't know. And that's what I was telling the Baptist guy that I've kind of made friends with. I'm like, I don't know. Things have been working out still, so I don't know. He's like, let me know if you need anything. I'm like, all right. I'm like, God still has things working out, so I don't know. I think I'm doing all right because God keeps making things work out. So I don't know. It's confusing, you know what I mean? Because I'm like everybody else. I'm like, I should just be locked up, you know what I mean? But God's like, no, you've been locked up for so damn long of your life. You're not going to think that way. That's what God's doing. You've been locked up so damn much, even in your mind. You're not going to think that way. God's like, you're a free man, for fuck's sakes now. You really are a free man. I'm trying to convince you. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You know, they're going to try to enslave me again. You know it, God. I know it. They will. They'll lock me up in some way again. I always think this. I'm like, they'll lock me up for something. They'll make something up, you know what I mean? To detain me. I'm like, but what they don't know, I'm very used to being detained, controlled. I am very used to it. That's why it's so weird. Every damn day, I'm like, there's no one guarding the doors. What? There's no one guarding the doors. What? You know what I mean? It's confusing. You know, that's how controlled I've been in an oppression. I'm like, there's no one to guard me. There's no one. What? You know, God knows it messes with me. I'm like, where's the people that are guarding the doors? Where are they? Of this building, where are they? You know, to make it so I don't escape. Anyway, enough about that. I'm going way off topic. But yeah, I am walking this road for real. God knows it. But I ain't doing it for him. I'm not. Because if I feel like if I'm doing it for God, I'm doing it for the God of my psychopath family. I can't separate the two. I can't. God knows it. I put God on their side for so long. I can't separate the two. That God's on my side, helping me for real. I can't separate it. So I have to do it for other reasons. You know, for that 10-year-old that felt betrayed by God, for example. For others that were abused under God's supervision. For the God that doesn't believe in child abuse prevention. I'm doing it for them. All of them that were abused and they never talked and they never said anything their whole damn lives out of fear. They're still probably afraid to this damn day of even God striking them down because they spoke against religion, God's religion, whatever the religion is, they spoke against it. Spoke against the priest that molested them, basically. They spoke against God's servant. God forbid. You know, I'm doing it for that kid, basically. I am. You know what I mean? Because I've seen that corruption in my face. I have. I've seen the violence in my face from men of God. I've seen it. I've seen the anger and violence in my face. I have. You know, I still have a scar on my neck. You know, from strangulation. It's no bullshit. I have physical reminders of the violence from men of God. You know what I mean? So you can see why I'm like, I'm not doing this for you, God. I'm not. Any good I do for this planet, any any good I do for the greater good, walking the real purpose for real. I ain't doing it for you, God. I'm not. And I know people hate that, but I'm helping God, yes, by doing this. But I'm not doing it for him. I can't do it for him. God knows if I was staying alive for God, God knows this as well. I never would have come this far if I was doing this for God. Never. That's how little I thought of God. I didn't think he was on my side at all. Like, if I was staying alive for God, I'd be dead. I'd be in a cemetery next to a statue of Jesus, but 6 feet under Jesus. That's a true statement. If I was doing this for God, I'd be dead already. Dead or locked up. Somewhere locked up. If I was doing this for God, it would be over already. That's how little I think of him. And I know he hears me. Like Child Abuse Prevention Month. Let that sink in, God. Let that sink in every damn day of your existence, God. Child Abuse Prevention Month. Until you get it in your skull. Protect the child. Protect the child from abuse. Get it in your damn skull, God. What the hell? Don't watch. Don't just watch. What the hell's wrong with you? Call us your children. You want us to call you our father? What do you think, I'm twisted in the head? Call them the father that watched me get strangled? Yeah, you're my father. So I ain't doing this for you. God knows it. He knows it. I thought about this as well. If God took me out in my sleep, he's like, you weren't going to do the purpose. I knew you weren't going to do the purpose. You weren't playing ball. You saw that I just watched you get abused, and that's it. So I took you off the planet. I'd be like, oh, okay. I'm okay with that. God knows it. I'd be like, oh, well. Get Jesus to do it. He's the golden child, remember? Got shoved into my face my whole life. Jesus, 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 Jesus. He matters, not you, Adam. That was the message my whole life. Get Jesus to do it. That everyone talks about right in my face my whole life. The hypocrites talked about him so greatly in front of my face. Get that Jesus to do my purpose down here. Get his butt down here in physical form. Take my place. You know what I mean? To do my purpose properly. Because he's the golden child that can do no wrong. He can do this purpose perfectly. I know he can, so why isn't he doing it? You know what I mean? If he's flawless in every way. If he's flawless in every way, which he is, probably, why doesn't he just do everything himself? Not in my body. Not utilizing me as part of his body of Christ. Why doesn't Jesus just come down and do it? He can do everything himself. It was rubbed in my face all these years. He can do everything. Why doesn't he? Let's see it. Let's see the champion do it. You know what I mean? Let's see him do it himself. My purpose. Outside of my body. Let him do it in his body. You know what I mean? It's way past the year 2000. What's the hold up, Jesus? I should have been down here already. Everyone knows it. You should be on the planet right now, walking on the planet right now for the millennium. As we speak in 2024, you should be on the planet, Jesus. According to religion, 2,000 years after your birth or death, doesn't matter. It's been 2,000 years. Isn't that what it said? Did they get the calendars wrong? I'm like, this whole world should have been cleansed by now. Burned. You know what I mean? And you should be ruling the planet right now, Jesus, according to religion. Right now you should be. But anyways, Child Abuse Prevention Month always gets me riled up. Because there's nothing I can do about it. Anyway, sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't go back in time and undo what happened. I can't, no matter how much I want to. Undo what happened so I develop as a normal human. Undo everything. So I develop as a normal human, get married, have kids, have the whole 9 yards. You know, but I can't do that. Instead, this story is very different. It's very different. But it's caught me very off guard. Very off guard. You know what I mean? Jesus especially. He paid attention throughout the whole damn thing, it seemed like. My whole life he was paying attention. Jesus was. Without me knowing it. He was paying attention the whole damn time. Which makes things even worse in a way. It does. Think about it. You're scapegoated all those years Jesus just watched. It makes things worse. Like, you didn't step in through any of it. It's fucked up, you know what I mean? Scapegoated so bad and been through so much that you thought you outsuffered Jesus himself. Like, with full conviction, you thought you outsuffered him. Anyways, enough about that. But I read about something in a book that someone gave me about my purpose-driven life book. And it said, like, people use excuses to not serve God, like being abused and all that. I'm like, guilty. Guilty. Totally guilty. Yeah. God knew it. God wanted me to read that because he knows I've been throwing that in his face forever. I've been throwing it in his face forever. That I don't have to help God. I don't have to serve God at all, ever, again, of my life. Even though I am doing it now. I don't like I've been using that excuse most of my life. I've been used in religion. I couldn't win. I knew I couldn't win. I'm like, God's on their side. I was convinced of that. But now God wants me to serve him now. I'm like, was he nuts? But he knows I've been using being abused as an excuse, but it's a valid excuse. You know, in religion it says that God is my father. Don't you protect your children if you're my father? I wasn't protected by my heavenly father. I wasn't. He knows it. I know it. It's factual. I wasn't. So this is interesting. Someone that God didn't defend most of his life. Maybe he's watched over me to get me to this point, but he didn't defend me from many things. Many things. And he wants me to play ball. You know what I mean? As if he protected me. That's what I'll say. As if he protected me my whole life from abuse. He wants me to help him. God does. As if he protected me my whole life. And supported me, encouraged me. He wants to help me as if that happened. Like no bullshit. Like nothing happened. Like none of the traumas, nothing. No, none of the horrific things happened. He wants me to help him. Like those things never happened. It seems like. So I have to be like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm really not. I'm even doing it more for the people that donate than God. And I admit that, you know what I mean? So I've just seen the hypocrisy so much in my face that I'm just like, I can't win. I'm like, eventually God will show us true colors. He will. Eventually. And I'm gonna get screwed again. I'm gonna get fucked again. I'm gonna be left high and dry. I am. If I put all my efforts into helping God like I did in the cult, I'll get spread so thin, I'll get left with nothing. And God knows it. No clothes, no money, no place to sleep. That's what I think. So in a lot of ways, in many ways, like I said before, this is testing Jesus' nobility. It is. His honor. I'm going to do a video about honor. It's testing Jesus' nobility, honor, his fact that he cannot lie. It's testing him in so many ways. It's not even funny. It is. Like, I'm not joking. Most of my life, I didn't think Jesus could do anything. Most of my life. Not deliver on anything. If I was like a 15-year-old, a teenager, and and Jesus told me, it was through somebody, and I knew it was from Jesus, that he would deliver on a promise. If I was 15 years old, for example, I wouldn't believe it for a second. Not 1 second. That's what's at stake here. You know what I mean? I didn't think he could deliver on anything. You know what I mean? So it's testing his nobility to someone that didn't believe wasn't convinced that Jesus was good or could do anything. You know what I mean? So strongly that I thought I could disprove the nobility of Jesus. I thought I could. That he wasn't like they talk about in the Bible as this great, perfect individual. I thought I could prove it. You know what I mean? I thought I could. He knows it. I was so convinced most of my life that he ain't what they say. Jesus is not the kind of guy they say in religion, in the cult. He ain't that guy, He ain't that good. No one could be that good. No one could be that perfect 24/7. You know what I mean? I thought I could disprove it. I mean, all it would take is one desire of the world. If Jesus had one desire from the world, it's over. One desire. That's it. It's over. That's how solid he has to be. Through and through. You know what I mean? So far, it seems he has been. So far, I've been the one that's looking like the jackass. I admit that. I've been the one looking like the jackass. I have been. Trying to make Jesus look bad. But he's been solid. You know what I mean? So I'm the one that's been looking like the jackass in the end. At the end of the day. So but anyways, enough about that. Child Abuse Prevention Month, that's what this is about. But every year, I just joke around about it now. It's not as heavy, doesn't get me charged up as much as it used to, but years ago I was pissed off, very pissed off. I'm like, Child Prevention Month, yeah, people believe in that, yeah, right. God doesn't even believe in child prevention. That's what I was saying years ago. I was like laughing at it, you know what I mean? I'm still kind of joking about it. Child abuse prevention. I wish God believed that. And I'm someone that can say that. I'm someone that can say that. Like, God, yeah, that's something God believes in. Child prevention, yeah, right. I can say that with confidence. Yeah. But anyways. But despite all that shit, he's kept track of me. He has. And he wants me to just forget about all the abuse and serve him anyways. That's what I've learned today. not to use being abused as an excuse not to not serve God. I think it's a damn good excuse. I do. He's supposed to be your father. He doesn't protect you. That's a damn good excuse. How can you trust that? How can you trust God if he didn't protect you? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. How can you fully trust a God that didn't protect you? That's why it's interesting to get trust with God. It's interesting. Because most of my life, I'm like, I'm never trusting God. Never. Never. Even though I'm kind of trusting him a little bit. It isn't full trust now. You think me looking to the empty skies, while God watched me get strangled, has left my memory? Nope. 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 That's the kind of God I put my faith in. But anyways, enough about that. Repeating the same old shit, you know what I mean? I'm past it all, I know I am. Kinda. I'm past it all until God does something and betrays me again. As a man now, God will pull a fast one on me, like he did in my youth. Pull a fast one, like, oh, I can do anything. Free will. God will do that shit again on me. Free will. I couldn't do anything to stop this time. Stop this incident from happening. Free will. That damn free will leave me dead and homeless at the same time. That damn free will be the death of me. It will. And the imprisonment of me. And God will just be like, I couldn't do anything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything. As I'm locked up again. I couldn't do anything. I'm sorry. I'm God. I have to obey these laws and rules. I'm God. I have to obey these rules. That tie my hands behind my back. I can just watch. I can only watch free will. I can't stop the horrors of humanity. My hands are tied. God's hands are always tied, it seems. Permanently tied by his own rules and laws. God's laws and rules of free will. His hands are tied permanently. Seems like. Maybe God does care because I'm alive. You know what I mean? But he's used to me. He's used to me. He is. He knew this was going to be a rough walk for me. Me and God teaming up. Are you kidding me? The God that watched all that shit happen to me. Teaming up? I'm like, am I brain dead? What the hell's wrong with me? What the hell's wrong with me? Am I fucking brain dead? I'm like, how did Job pull this off? Not, not turn against God in the end. How did Job pull this off in his mind? All the horrors of his life. And still didn't turn against God in the end. How did Job pull this off? I don't know. I'm still saying I don't know how he did it. But anyway. So I'm just like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm not going to Baptist church for you, God. I'm not. Maybe a little bit, but not really for you. Part of me's like, this road with you, God, isn't that much better than anything else I've done. That's what I was thinking today. I'm like, not much is that better, even with God. Like, what the hell? I'm being serious. I'm like, I'm still as miserable as I was in the cult. Yeah. Seems like doing all these things for God. Busy bee. I'm like exhausted. You know what I mean? Burnt out from trying to help God. I'm burnt out. You know what I mean? I'm like, does he just want me to have no energy left at all at the end of all this, you know? But anyway, I always have to make that dig every year. Child Abuse Prevention Month. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like God really believes in that. Yeah, right. That tying the millstone to someone's neck rather than hurting a child. Oh my God doesn't believe that at all. That's what I thought most of my life. He didn't defend me at all. He doesn't believe that putting a millstone around the abuser's neck. Otherwise, they'd be at the bottom of the sea right now. They're not. They're living as if nothing happened for most of my life, and still to this day, probably living as if nothing happened. No millstone around their neck. Nothing. Nothing. So I'm like that scripture's full of shit. When Jesus said that, better that millstone goes around his neck than hurt the children. I'm like, that's why I was like, Jesus, a hypocrite to his own words. That's what I said most of my life. He doesn't believe that at all. He's on the side of the abusers, for not defending me. That's what I thought. I'm like, by the end of this, I can prove Jesus is like them, and he'll strike me down like them. I can prove it. You mark my words, I can. With enough time and effort. So far, I haven't. It's impressive. But anyways, I had to make a video about it because it's funny. Like every year this month goes by, Child Prevention Month, and I'm just like, yeah, right. Like people, like I even think people of the world and humanity don't really believe that statement. They don't really believe that Child Prevention Month, child abuse prevention. What they're saying, their actions don't match that at the home. You know what I mean? They're just saying Child Abuse Prevention Month. Just to be like, oh, we don't abuse the children. Oh, look, put up a sign. We don't abuse the children. We're good people. That's not what I saw in my face. So that's why I laugh about it. Like, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. The person that put up those signs probably abusing their kid right now in the home, you know? That's what I say. Anyways, I rambled enough. Get in the present. Stay in the present. You know, those years are long gone, Adam. They're long gone, you know. But yeah, serving God feels like I'm serving the cult and my psychopath father. It does. That's what they do. They pretend to serve God and stuff. You know, so me actually trying to serve God for real, I'm like, I'm doing what they do. I don't want to do what they do. I don't want anything to do with being like a man of God like them. You know what I mean? I'm like, you show me the real Jesus and that he can back up the way he is, and he's different than all these men. You show me that right now. So I have full confidence to walk this route. I ain't following someone that's not better than me in every way. You know what I mean? Jesus has to prove he's better than me in every aspect. Every aspect. Every aspect he has to prove he's better than me. So far he has. Yes, I admit that. But he's one mean father. Jesus can be one mean father. He's like, no more Dragon Ball Z for you until you do your purpose at the Baptist church. No more Dragon Ball Z. Jesus can be mean. He can be mean. Seems like. It's like, you do your purpose, so I'll do it myself. I'm like, fine, do it yourself. That's what everybody wanted anyways. Everybody wanted you to come down, Jesus. Since the year 2000, they wanted you to come down. I know this better than most. Psychopaths wanted you to come forever. That's what they all said in religion. Jesus is coming. Year 2000. He never came and I was partying. No Jesus. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, religion is false. Hallelujah. Thank God religion is false. Somehow I'm still alive, which means Jesus is not false. Religion was false, but Jesus just delayed his second coming. Jesus delayed his second coming from the year 2000. That's what I've learned. Jesus exists, but he delayed his second coming from what everybody thought it would come. That's what I've learned. I'm like, shit. But anyways, I've rambled enough. God's probably pissed off at me again, but I know he didn't want me to make this video. I know that. But I always have to make a dig at it. For all the children, in religion that were abused by men of God, that's why I'm making this video. So it makes them feel better. It's cathartic, you know. Like, yeah, God prevents the child abuse. Yeah, right. He can't even prevent it in his own religions. He can't prevent the child abuse in his own damn religions. God can't. He has to have me talk about the abuse in religions way later. God doesn't step in for anybody. He has me talking about it. Spilling out the dirty secrets. He has me talk about it. You know what I mean? Not him talk about it. Maybe he is talking about it through me. But of everything I saw, the hypocrisy in religion, he wants me talking about it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm not doing it for you, Kakarot. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing this for. Mainly because you promised me something, and I want to prove you can't fulfill a promise. I'm testing this. You know what I mean? Could I make God a liar? He doesn't fulfill a promise. I could make him a liar. I could. Anyway. Enough about that. I need to grow up and mature. You know, the past is the past. The God of my youth is long gone. He's dead. This new God is something else, it seems like. Came out of nowhere. You know. But at the same time, it feels like it's the same God of my youth, and I'm just like, shit. I can't avoid this guy for no matter where I go. That's what I realized. I can't hide. I can't hide ever. Never I can't hide, you know. Not from Kakarot. Kakaroto. Can't hide from him. I was watching some Dragon Ball Z yesterday. It's so, I resonate with Vegeta when he talks about Kakarot as if that's Jesus. I resonated with so much it's not even funny. I resonated with so much. It's so damn close to how things are with me and him. It's not even funny. If you've never seen Dragon Ball Z and seen the relationship between the two warriors, Vegeta and Kakarot, watch it. That's how it feels. Like, I'm the rough one with all my flaws. Well, Jesus is the perfect one. Kakarot that can do no wrong. You know what I mean? The ultimate warrior that always sacrifices himself for his friends and family. Goddamn Kakarot. Perfect Kakarot, you know what I mean? Rivalry continues. Rivalry always goes on and on and on. This morning was like, oh, Jesus is still going. I'll keep going. He thinks he can keep going. Even though he's tired, I'm tired. I'll keep going too. You know what I mean? I will pass Jesus by with my battle axe. You can mark my words. They'll be like, who's that passed Jesus by with the battle axe? That's me. That's me. It's so relatable with Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta thinks he's better than Kakarot, or sometimes he does think he's better than him, or you know what I mean? But then you realize he's not better than Kakarot. It's very relatable with me and Jesus. You know, there's many times I'm like, I'm not better than him. And he shows me. You know? Anyway, enough crazy talk for now. Anytime you talk about Yahweh, you sound crazy. That's what I realize. Anytime you talk about Yahweh or Kakarot or Jesus, you sound crazy to everybody else, especially the atheists. They're like, get out of la la land. You know what I mean? So you sound crazy to the atheists if you talk about Jesus. You do. Absolutely nuts. I know this very well. That's why so many people are afraid to talk about Jesus, because the atheists attack them like no other. They're like, quit talking about Santa Jesus. Quit talking about Santa Claus Jesus. They relate Jesus to Santa. No bullshit. The atheists do. I thought it was funny for a while until I realized he might be. Yeah, he's legit. It seems like. At least so far. At least so far. But my next video, I'm going to talk about honor. This was pressed on me today to talk about honor, because no one really thinks about it. Jesus knows honor. Yes, he does, and he knows that that's a big deal to me as well. Honor. It's true. Like the two warriors in Dragon Ball Z, we believe in honor. Jesus knows honor. He has to, in order to help me this far. He has to know honor like nobody else. Jesus does. Like I said, he has to be more honorable than me. He does. He does. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll talk about the most honorable thing that Jesus ever did for me. I'll talk about it in the next video. But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I always have to make that dig every year when I see Child Abuse Prevention Month, because it kind of triggers me. I'm like, God believes in child abuse prevention. Yeah, right. It's laughable. Having lived my whole life, God believes in child abuse prevention. It's laughable. I can just laugh at it, you know what I mean? And God knows it. He's like, be easy. Don't make fun of me too much. God's like, don't make fun of me too much. I know I didn't step in for anything. I didn't defend you from shit. Be easy on me. I'll try. But he knows it's tough for me to let things go. To let that go. He knows it is. It's so hard to let go. Oh yeah, I'm just put aside all the abuse that you watched, and I'm going to serve you 100%. Fully, God, like nothing happened. That's what God's asking me to do after today, reading that shit. He wants me to serve him fully, 100%. Serve God 100% fully. No exceptions, as if none of the abuse happened at all, under God's supervision, as if it never happened. I'm not bullshitting. It's a big fucking task for me. Because no matter what I do, the abuse keeps cropping up, and I'm like, I'm not going to help God. Every time I'm like, I'm trying to help God, you know, trying to walk this road, the abuse of the past. I'm like, I'm not helping that God. What the fuck am I doing? Every damn time, like, what the hell am I doing? Am I fucking brain dead? I'm helping the God that watched me be abused. What the hell's wrong with me? You know, am I mentally retarded? Maybe. You know, that's what goes through my mind. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing even trying a little bit to help God? Like the psychopaths pretend to do. I'm not going to do that shit. What am I doing, you know? If I help God, I do it the correct way of what I think the correct way is. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna go around and abuse children in religion like the men of God do. I ain't gonna do that shit. That's where I stand. Child Abuse Prevention Month, I will believe in that. I will believe in that, even if God didn't. I'll believe in that. No bullshit. The general will believe in that shit. The general will love the children like Jesus does. No bullshit. The general will do it because he was abused. The general will understand. Yeah, you don't fuck with that shit. You don't. The joy and innocence of a child, you don't fuck with that shit because I know what that did to me. I know what that did to me. I was a happy kid, God knows it. I was full of joy and happiness. I was. And then you fuck with that shit, you get strangled. You're permanently changed. I was permanently changed from that. Not just strangled, but my parents turned against me as well. The same damn night. The same damn night. They all turned against me at once. It's like, it's your fault. It's your fault. Not the church leader's fault. It's your fault. That's the message I learned. They will protect their own over their own children in that religion. They will. They'll sweep the child under the rug. That's what I learned. And God knows it. And God didn't do anything, so I'm trying to prove that God's like them. The same God of my youth that left me hanging to take the abuse of the adults. I'm trying to prove he's like them. These days, my kid, God will slip up. He'll strike me down. He'll slip up. Just have to keep walking this road. He'll slip up. He'll show his true colors. I'm like, I know God's true colors from my past. Seared in my memory. God will show his true colors, his real colors. Instead of him showing his bad colors, he's still blessing me. I'm like, oh, shit. Blessing me with donations and stuff. But I thought about this as well. I went through so much shit. This is no joke. I can't recognize what a real blessing is. I realize that. I've gone through so much, I don't recognize what a real blessing even looks like. You know what I mean? It's like the blessings just bounce right off me. I'm like, what was that? They're like, that was a blessing, Adam. Oh. Oh. That's how much shit I've been through, like not expecting anything from God. And when he's throwing blessings at me, they just bounce right off me. God's blessings just bounce right off me. Throw money at me, it'll bounce right off me. I'm like, that's not a blessing. You know what I mean? So that's something I got to learn, is what a blessing looks like and feels like. You know what I mean? Because most of my life I didn't feel like I was blessed. Most of my life I didn't. I'm alone most of the time. It's hard to realize if you're being blessed or not when you're alone. It is like, is this a blessing? Can someone tell me if this is a blessing? I don't know. I don't know if this is an actual blessing from God. I don't know. I can't recognize a real blessing. That's how little I think of myself. I'm like, God's not blessing me. That's not part of my story. That's it. That's not part of this story. My life story. God blessing me. That's not part of my life story. You know what I mean? My life story was the opposite of that. You know what I mean? Eventually these blessings will disappear and God will leave me hanging, and I'll be fucked. That's what I always sing. This is too good to be true. This is too good to be true. I don't believe it for a second. God's just love bombing me. Yes, that's it. God's love bombing me. These blessings is love bombing. He's going to pull the rug from underneath me. You wait and see. You wait and see. The devaluing will begin after God's love bombing with the blessing. That's why it's so hard. That I just thought of that just now. That's why it's so hard to see if God's blessing you. You've been love bombed in your life a lot by psychopaths. You've been love bombed. Like they give you blessings. The psychopaths do. They give you gifts and stuff. That's what I just thought about. So it's hard to realize when God's blessing you for real. I might make a video about that. How it's hard to see if God's blessing you for real because you've been love bombed. You've been fake loved. You've been fake loved most of your life by psychopaths. That it's hard to distinguish real love from God. I'm going to make a video about that. Yeah, that's a good video to make. I'm going to make a video about that for sure. That's a damn good one. Anyways, that's all I'll say. In Jesus' name, amen. I close this talk.